Hello everyone, my name's Joelle. Welcome to this 10-minute yoga practice for the QL, the Quadratus Lumborum muscle in the lower back. I'm using one yoga block today. You may or may not need it. And we'll get started with a really gentle stretch lying down on our right side, maybe using the block underneath the head. And then bending just the bottom knee up in front of you. So just this really gentle stretch to start out. You may or may not feel much, depending on whether your QL is tight on one side or the other, or both. Always remembering today never to push into any pain. Just breathing deeply into any sensations you feel. And if you'd like, you could even reach that left arm up overhead, just getting a little bit of a stretch into the shoulder as well. Really nice. And let's simply press ourselves up, straighten both legs, one on top of the other, and coming into a side sphinx now. So the right forearm is pressing down into the earth. You might even bring a block underneath the forearm if you'd like to intensify a little bit. Noticing any feelings that come up, perhaps in the right side of the lower back in that QL. And then we'll simply shift on over to the other side, taking the block with you if you were using one. Lying down on the left side and bending that bottom knee, possibly reaching the top arm up and over. So the QL muscle is a pretty short muscle that helps to stabilize the lower back. And it assists us with doing things like side bending or raising a hip, but it can also get really tight and achy for many of us. As we move into that side sphinx, propping the left forearm up on a block or keeping it on the mat. And sending your breath now towards the left side of that lower back or anywhere else that you may feel the stretch. Very nice. And let's come into a modified side plank now, keeping the left knee on the mat. And reaching the right arm up and over, step the right foot just about in front of your left knee. So kind of a boxy side lunge here. And the more you press your right hip away from you, chances are the more you'll feel this stretch in that QL. Maybe taking the gaze up to the ceiling. Stay with it, stay with your deep breaths. And then we'll bring that right hand back to the ground. Take a couple of cat-cows here on hands and knees. Just moving kind of intuitively here. Flowing with your breath. And then coming back to a neutral spine, and we'll switch to the other side. So modified side plank, keeping the right knee on the ground. Reaching the left arm up and over, and stepping the left foot in front of you. This time pressing that left hip away, noticing any differences between the first and second side. Oftentimes an area where we can be more imbalanced than we might realize. So good things to discover about our own bodies today. And let's bring the left hand down. We'll take a few more cat-cows, but this time keeping the knees together and the feet apart. So you probably won't arch and round quite as much in this position, but you might notice that the sensation is quite different, particularly in the lower back area and in that Quadratus Lumborum. And then finding a neutral spine once more, we'll come into a standing position, keeping the feet a little bit wider than hips width, and straightening both legs so it doesn't matter where the hands are, bring them to the outside of the right leg. So they can be to the outside of the thigh, to the outside of the calf, maybe holding the ankle. And just start bending and straightening that left leg a couple of times, keeping the right leg straight. And you might like to keep bending and straightening, or you might just like to hold that left knee bent with the hands anywhere to the outside of that right leg, breathing deeply here, observing what this brings up for you in that lower back. Very nice, and we'll simply bring the upper body towards center for a breath. And once you're ready, moving both hands to the outside of the left leg and beginning to bend and straighten through the right knee. And you might have to play around with the posture a little bit, play around with the positioning of the hands to find the spot where you feel the deepest stretch, whether that is in movement or in stillness, maybe holding with the right knee bent. For a few nice deep breaths. And then we'll release that stretch. Very nicely done. Make your way down onto the ground. Coming to a seated position, maybe up on your block or pillow if you were using one. And we'll extend that right leg, maybe keeping a soft bend in it. Left foot can come towards the inner right thigh, holding that knee with the right hand and reaching the left arm up towards the ceiling. And this is really one of my favorite stretches here for the QL. Getting into the lower back and into that side body and side of the hip as well. Wonderful. And let's bring the soles of both feet together now into a butterfly. And gently press down on the right knee with the right hand. Finding a little bit more space here. And we'll switch sides, extending the left leg out, perhaps with a soft bend. Left hand holds the right knee and right hand reaches for the sky. And I hope this is one of those practices today that will prove to you that 10 minutes a day, even if sometimes that's all we've got, can really make a difference in our bodies and minds. So good for you making time for yourself today. And we'll bring the soles of the feet back together into that butterfly, gently pressing the left knee down now. For a few breaths. And if you would like to spend a little bit more time on your mat today, I do have several other practices related to lower back pain, and I'll put all of them in the description box below. Wonderful. We'll stay in the butterfly, but bringing the feet a little bit further from the body, so you might like to turn to the side as I did. We'll come into a gentle forward fold here, turtle pose. So that might be propping up on fingertips. You might bring your block underneath the forehead or chest. You might have the space to weave the arms underneath the knees and rest the forearms to the mat. Anywhere you are is the right place for you to be, so long as you feel a stretch in that lower back. And whenever you're ready, you're welcome to stay as long as you'd like in that turtle pose, or you can join me coming back up to a comfortable seat, maybe swaying a little bit side to side just to notice how you're feeling in that lower back, whether anything has changed. And again, thanking yourself for your efforts. If you did enjoy this practice, I would really appreciate you hitting the like button, giving me a little energy boost myself. And do subscribe to my channel for 2 free videos every week. I hope to see you again soon. Leave me a comment down below if you have any suggestions or requests. And thank you again. Well done today. Namaste.